How's it going, folks? So, on the radio show yesterday that I was listening to, the host had made the claim that without God, without Christianity, there are no rights. Now, this person was doing it in a show where the primary purpose was he was talking about Christians, Christianity, the birth of Christ, and how that ties into our system of government. And yes, I do understand our founders had Judeo Christian values for the most part. Many of them were Christians to varying degrees. However, I disagree with the idea that you have to have Christianity in order to have rights, that rights don't exist without Judeo Christian values. It is quite possible to understand that people have rights, and it's really easy to draw an objective line without Christianity on where people's rights lie. The easiest way to put this is simply, hey, is this person harming somebody else with their action, either through theft, fraud, destruction of property, assault, murder? Okay, they're not. Well, then they're not violating other people's rights. Now, if they are, well, yes. Now, here's where the state comes in. And the purpose of the state is to provide some basic rules and to provide some justice for those who violate other people's rights. The state is not a grantor of rights. And if they were, we wouldn't have the Nuremberg trials. Because if the state can grant rights, they don't have to grant rights to anybody, or they can grant some rights and then decide, well, we granted these rights, but now these rights are problematic. We can take them away. And if the state is the grantor of rights, then obviously in Nazi Germany, the Nazis were the state at the time. Their government, run by the Nazis, was the state at the time, and therefore can grant and take away rights from anybody they pleased. Well, the fact of the matter is that rights are inherent. The state is not the grantor of rights. And the state violated the rights of a number of people in Nazi Germany. This is why we had, again, as I say, the Nuremberg trials. These were gross violations of human rights. Hitler and the Nazis didn't take away anybody's rights, they violated them. Now, the same is true with Stalin, Mao Zedong, and a number of other despots, dictators, communists, fascists, whatever you want to call them. A lot of them do tend to get away with it, unfortunately. And this is why the state does need to be very limited in what they do. Because if you don't, yes, it is very possible and it's course for the par for the state to violate your rights to some degree or another, whether or not it's just some basic soft tyranny or if it's full on oppression. That's a different story. So, yes, there is a good purpose to limiting the state. And this means, unfortunately for some people, that, you really shouldn't be using the state to do things that it's not there to do, such as infringe upon the rights that you don't particularly approve of. You know, and if you still do think that, then you have no room to complain when the state infringes upon something you like or hits you with those very same rights violations. And now you're wondering, oh, how could this happen to me? Well, it happened to you because you allowed it. You advocated for it to basically happen to you. One such example, I'm going to bring this up. This is one of the things that Carl Benjamin had mentioned. This happened in the UK a while ago. Is intersectional feminists got arrested for a short period of time, I guess, because she had posted some sort of hate speech. And the thing was, it was against, I think, straight white males. Well, that fell under the code of hate speech. And then all of a sudden with her, it was, oh, the state is oppressing me. It was okay when people were getting locked up for saying things that she didn't like. But when it happened to her, you know, all of a sudden it's a shock and it's a grave violation, you know. With people like that, yeah, unfortunately, people like that cannot live in a free state. And really, people like that will destroy your free state. A more recent example, Twitter. Everyone knows the Elon Musk meltdowns. There were a lot of blue check marks that were awful shocked when Elon Musk started having the terms of service get enforced on them too. They didn't say, okay, well, we were wrong for doing this to other people. They just got mad because Elon Musk said, nah, well, now we're applying the rules a little bit more evenly. And unfortunately, he's walked some of this stuff back. And unfortunately, some people are still getting their accounts permabanned, you know, for really not even violating these terms of service. Just they got mass reported by some people. Yeah, you know, and even that Exodus, I believe a lot of these blue check marks decided to open up Mastodon accounts, and then they started mass flagging people there that they didn't like, you know, trying to get them banned. And I think Mastodon released a statement like, hey, stop doing this. We're not Twitter. You can't do this. However, the fact still remains that rights are inherent. We set the state up to really protect those rights. And unfortunately, the state grows. The nature of the state is to continually grow once it's set up because the people who are attracted to those positions are in love with power and wielding power, oftentimes. And so there needs to be a check back on the state. And the thing is you have to have a population that's willing to push back on the state and stop them from overstepping their boundaries, no matter how insignificant you think that overstep is. And the other thing I wanted to address, this was actually a statement by Milo Yiannopoulos. And of course, Milo Yiannopoulos was making the comment or the case that, well, we couldn't have a Bill of Rights without Christianity. And I disagree with that too. You know, we'll start with the freedom of speech. Milo said, well, you know, if nobody is being held to account or if nobody believes that they're going to face their creator when they die over their sins, then what's to stop somebody from telling a bunch of lies? And yes, if somebody doesn't understand, doesn't care, or doesn't know about the consequences of lying, Well, yes, they're probably going to go and lie. And it's going to make the whole freedom of speech thing a little bit more difficult. However, without freedom of speech, guess who's going to be the arbiter of what gets said and what doesn't get said, or what gets punished for being said and what doesn't get punished for being said, or what gets praised for being said? Probably some of those very same liars who get put into positions in the state where they can be the arbiters of that. And anybody who might have been an ethical person, Christian or not, they're probably going to get their stuff suppressed. Whereas with freedom of speech, if it's enforced, even if you have a majority of people who are not ethical, think it's okay to lie and stuff like that, well, you're still going to have at least some of that chaos, but at least people who are ethical, intelligent, speak the truth, well, they can still do it with less worry of persecution. Same with our right to keep and bear arms. Yes, if you have a state that recognizes our right to keep and bear arms and actually enforces it, and the country, the state's governing, is filled with a bunch of unethical people, well, yeah, you're going to have bad people do bad things with those guns. Bad people do bad things in general. However, without that right being protected, well, guess who is going to have the monopoly on the guns? Probably some of the same lying, unethical, murderous dirtbags that would have gotten the guns anyway, and the people who are probably going to be deprived of their ability to keep and bear arms are going to be the very Christians that Milo Yiannopoulos says are the ones that are worthy of the right, but nobody else is. So this is where I disagree with Milo Yiannopoulos on that. But to sum this up, you don't have to be a Christian to understand the concept of basic individual rights. Furthermore, there are some Christians that don't understand this basic concept, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Yes, there have been a lot of people since the decline of Christianity that, not only did they drop Christianity, not only did it not make them more rational, but these people, have just lost their fucking mind in general. They're no less religious than what they used to be. They've just changed their object of worship. They've changed their dogma. Wokeism is an example of a dogma that they follow. Statism is another example. And they're more cult-like than your average run-of-the-mill Christian. So I also understand that, yes, there are people who are always going to be religious, and maybe Christianity or some sort of Judeo-Christian religion might be the better thing for them. However, I don't necessarily think that Christianity is a necessity or showstopper when it comes to rights. But hey, everyone, let me know what y'all think. Y'all have the comment section below. Y'all take it easy out there and have a great day.